loading snacks.
What it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X? It's your boy Gage here in the building with jokes. Give me a double yo.
Yo, yo.
And it is time for another episode of Spoiler Boys.
Spoiler boys.
And the boys are here to officially spoil Punisher One Last Kill. This is the Punisher one shot that just dropped on Disney Plus following Daredevil Born Again Season 2 and kind of giving us the other piece of what's happening before we get into Spider-Man Brand New Day. About an hour long, nothing too crazy. Jokes, what's your pre-discussion score?
I'm at a 7. Enjoyable.
Okay.
I didn't think it was anything groundbreaking or anything. Frank Castle did what Frank Castle does typically. So I think it was exactly what it should have been and what it was supposed to be, but it was very enjoyable. So I'm at a 7.
I'm at like an 8.5.
Mm-hmm.
And we can get into why, a little later, but I think 8.5. I think this is more than. I think that for something that's so short and contained, it just is so ridiculously well acted.
Mm-hmm. Valid.
It's so ridiculously well acted. Get outside of like we know Punisher does what Punisher does.
Mm-hmm.
Punisher gonna punish. Like we know what it is. But the depth of character that exists in this 1 hour is probably better realized than almost every other character in the entire MCU in this 1 hour. Like if you haven't seen anything Punisher, if you haven't watched the full seasons of TV that exists for the character, maybe if all you have are the few things that you've seen when he cameos somewhere or something like that for somebody else, this goes, in my opinion, much further in terms of actually establishing a true position of person, humanization. The struggle that Frank Castle is having in being in dealing with the difficulty of technically having finally done everything he set out to do. So let's talk about it for a minute. This takes place in a space where Frank Castle, the Punisher, who as a character is more realistically, he is the he's the vigilante that people want Batman to be.
Yeah.
but isn't. He is the version of Batman that the Red Hood would love.
Best friends.
There is no space for forgiveness. If you're a bad guy, you're a bad guy. Death becomes you, right? And it does all stem from him being a military man, a Marine, losing his family to the gangsters that are in here, the Nucci's, right? To having lost his entire family, his wife and his two very young children, being gunned down by these folks, it pushed him over the line, right? Where he decided, got to take the law into my own hands. I'm gonna be the one.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna see it out. And so we are coming upon Frank Castle sitting in what is more or less an empty apartment. And you don't necessarily really know it at the beginning, but you quickly begin to realize, like, one, he's like delusional,
Oh.
right? He's seeing people, talking to people who aren't there, talking to himself, truly struggling and coming to grips with the idea that there might be something wrong with him,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like literally asking for help from someone who's not there. Um, and it really is that he has finally taken out all of the men, the remaining people that were left, that were responsible for the death of his wife and children.
Mm-hmm.
And now he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know how to be a hero because he's not a hero. He never set
Exactly.
out to be a hero. What does he do? He can't go get a job.
I mean, he could. It's probably what he was trying to avoid, probably. But
Could he? Could
now
he though?
he ain't gonna
Like
work in a grocery
everybody
store or
knows
something.
that he did this. You know what? Like I don't know that he could go get a job. He certainly couldn't work that job. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I mean, look, what do you think? What do you think about just that the opening scene and the time with him, sitting in
And
the apartment, kind of trying to come to grips with things?
honestly, the opening scene is probably what's actually gonna end up raising my score because listen, I had already knew what Punisher was going to do at some point in this whole entire run. No two ways about it.
Sure.
But to see him go through, just the mental anguish of trying to, figure things out, not having those people there with him, talking to, you know, the ghost of the past, I guess would be the way to say it.
Hmm.
It's something that I feel like, certain individuals would be able to relate to. Like,
Hmm.
this dude has seen, he's seen his fair share, like being in combat. He's done, just like you said, he's accomplished what it was that he set out to do. And it's kind of being like, I don't know what to do with myself at this point.
Hmm.
And that internal struggle that he was having was just one of those, like, you're just sitting there like damn, like he's really going through this right now. And you would think someone like a Frank Castle would be able to like compartmentalize, those type of things where maybe it wouldn't bother him. But I think after a certain point, you clearly see that it, what, these things have bothered him up to a degree. And as he's been going through, taking out targets and doing things, he did compartmentalize at points. But
Sure.
now that the mission's over, it's now all just coming out all at one time. And to just, see him struggle when he finally left the apartment, walked to like little corner store, bakery, whatever it was, seeing the little girl in there, she recognized, because they threw his image up on the news, like, yo, no, we
Mhm.
don't know where Frank Castle is. And she looked over and she's just like, but she kept it clean though. She kept it cool. But honestly, his Jon Bernthal, I gotta give him props. Like, his acting in the beginning of this is what really, it really drove that motivation to be like, hey, yo, this is, no, this is a man that is broken.
Yeah, I mean,
And
it's
it's
not
like
just in the beginning, bro. This is like,
seventy
that
percent of.
walk leaving the apartment is giving you there's a lot of background noise. There's a lot happening. And you
Mm-hmm.
can't really tell what's real and what's not because the time that you spent with him in the apartment, people are there and they're not really there, right? And when he's walking, you don't know how much of what's happening in the background is real
Mm-hmm.
or isn't, but like it is completely harsh from the very beginning. And what you are getting slowly but surely as you see him kind of take this stroll and you kind of figure out what's going on is
Mm-hmm.
you don't truly get the full statement of what's going on until he gets to the corner store, right? And he goes and
Mm-hmm.
you see on the TV and they're like, Frank Castle, the Punisher, has finally taken out the Nucci
Mm-hmm.
family, right? Now you're starting to put it together. And you can begin to piece together for yourself, which I think is a beautiful thing for the way that this is written and edited and shot. for you as a
Mm-hmm.
viewer to start to be able to put it together, like, oh, there's no law there. Him taking out, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote, the bad guys, now there's nobody to keep them in check. The bad guys keep the bad guys in check. So now the little young dudes or whatever just run around doing whatever. They run around lawless. They don't have ways to get paid. So they're just wilding out. And when you start a show and you, first of all, the warning in the beginning of this that was talking about the graphic nature of this show, when that didn't show in front of Daredevil, it didn't show in front, like, it was like, oh, okay, this is going to be something.
Mm-hmm.
They took my man's puppy and threw it in front of a car,
Dog.
in front of a trash truck.
Hey, listen,
Like,
I don't know about you. When he did that, I was like, oh, you gotta go. I was
somebody
like,
got to kill you. Of course.
you have to. I don't know how you gonna get caught up with Frank Castle, but I was like, you have to go.
Of course. Um, so like getting to the corner store is filling in the blanks. And then you can see that like there's somebody in the store is kind of wilding out, kind of acting up, kind of
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And the owner of the store is kind of like, hey man, look, you got, take it outside, whatever, my bad. They know who Frank Castle is. They know what he did. They also kind of know that he's responsible for how things are now.
mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's on the house, man. Appreciate you being, you waiting or whatever. Because any of them could call the police and turn them in. And then you see him walk outside and you see police pull up and back off. Like,
Mm-hmm.
again, you still kind of don't know what's real and what's not, what's in his head and what isn't. And then you realize that he's taking a stroll to the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to the cemetery so he can have a conversation with his wife and his kids. And mostly he's talking to his daughter,
Mm-hmm.
his oldest daughter. And it's there that really you truly begin to see the struggle that he's
Mm-hmm.
having, right? He has gone to the apartment, purchased a padlock, locked up his guns, thrown everything away, covered it up, and he has walked the key to
Mm-hmm.
that padlock and dropped it off in front of his wife and kids' tombstones
Mm-hmm.
and begins to have a conversation there. And then you really see the struggle. And he takes the gun out and really he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do
He's
with
ready to
myself.
end it.
I can't do this anymore. You hear him saying that he's afraid. You hear him saying that he's scared. And he takes the gun out and he's ready to off himself until his
Mm-hmm.
daughter pops up, who's not really there. You know what I mean? In front of him. And that moment, like watching Bernthal do Bernthal, because Bernthal does Bernthal. Like
The
it's
same.
not like, you know what I
No,
mean?
no, 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 no. Like, listen, that same that same thing. I feel like he does it like every character that he does. Like, but it sells. He sells it.
But this joint was like, I was immediately like, oh nah, he needs an Emmy for this. Like he's doing this. He is adding layers and peeling back the layers of the onion to this character and really giving you some insight and really truthfully taking an understanding of the character and showing you as a viewer like what that kind of thing has done to him psychologically, right? And of course, for this to come out like in the middle of mental health month,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it's like, you know, it is it's so well done.
Mm-hmm.
Um and you begin to see that this car is following him, right? He's beginning to notice it. And again, you don't really know if
If
this
that's
is,
actually real or if he's
yeah.
like something creeping up in the back of his mind, almost like a figurative type of thing.
Mhm.
Like you don't know.
Mhm. Um but he goes to head back to his apartment and the streets are quiet. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
little different for some reason. And you see this old woman in a wheelchair, and it took me a second to realize who she was.
I
Not
listen.
in terms of,
I was like, oh, you have all your limbs. That was the first thing I said to myself. I was like, oh, they. I guess they're not going full on comic in this. I was like, they held back a little bit.
well, I just meant like the actress, like being
Oh,
Judith
okay,
Light. Like
gotcha.
I'm like, bro, that's Judith Light from Who's the Boss. Like I'm like, all right, like that's what we doing. All right. Um, but she comes with that real threat and begins to talk about him taking out her family,
Mm-hmm.
them being the same, right? I lost my whole family, just like you, Frank. You know what I mean? Everybody's gone. It's only me left. It's crazy being
Dog.
lonely. You know what
She
I
going
mean?
through that, and I'm just like, oh, Frank. I'm just like. She go. I like putting the two of y'all versus each other, like for the exact same. Obviously, she's not going to be out here fighting the way that you're going to be doing. Like she's going to have to do something a little more calculating. But when you're someone at that point that has nothing to lose, essentially at that point, it's
Look, bro, I'm not gonna hold you. You know how I am. If something's dumb, I'm gonna say it's dumb. It's
mm-hmm.
dumb. She could have just shot him. She could have just shot him. She could have had the big black dude that she had with her just shoot him. You know what I
Hey, listen,
mean?
I thought they were gonna wreck. I was for sure she was about to tell my man, "Hey, yo, go do it, Frank, right now."
He had a
I
bunch of. It was a bunch of guys standing around on their little mopeds and bikes with it. I thought it was gonna be like, go get him right now. But here's where I give them a little bit. Her whole thing was, I want to see you suffer.
mm-hmm.
You're gonna suffer, and I'm gonna watch you die. And then she did it based on the time
It's
when
time.
she watched him kill her
Her
son in
son.
front of her. 6:57. That's what time. All it took was for me to put a bounty on your head. They coming. Everybody who you took out, like we paid all of them. They work for
Mm-hmm.
us. Now they don't have any money coming from anywhere. There's nobody to work for. So like you did this. So it's like even in him doing the thing that gave him what he wanted, he made it worse. You know what I mean? Or it didn't fix anything. You know, Batman's plight. Like he can't win. It's always worse, right? So and she says to him, like, they coming. 6:57, I'm gonna be watching. And I thought to myself, he could just go up to the apartment and suit up and boot up and go and just find her and kill her. And they still won't come, right? But
Either way.
you know, um, but going and like having that moment where like Karen shows up and having a little bit of a moment with her and being like, you're not done yet. There's still more work to do. You know what I mean? And him asking her, like, are you really here? Again, he's
Mm.
aware
Yeah.
that he ain't all there and that things are not quite, you know what I mean, where he
And
needs them
listen,
to be.
with her showing up and with the change in her character and being able to, I was like, and for her to be like, you're not done yet. I was just like, hey, yo, this is that Karen that learn how to fight and everything. She's like, yeah, go out there and do your thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. She's I feel like the only person that's been able to get to him. Been able to
Mm-hmm.
like get in his head and really talk to him and really have a conversation with him. And again, if you haven't seen his show or certain parts of Daredevil, then you might not quite be aware. But I would imagine that most people who are going to watch this are um, aware. And it's it it's the calm before the storm.
Mm-hmm.
Because once that happens, now we
It,
know all bets are off, and we going. Now it's a Punisher. Now it's a Punisher movie. You know what I mean? Like it's time to just wild out. And these guys are out here in the hallway looking for him in every room, knocking on doors.
mm-hmm.
The little kid across the hall screaming, whatever. And Frank he can't let that go.
Nope.
You know what I mean? So now it's a fight fest. And I'm gonna tell you something. This fighting, this shooting, this choreography, that's where I want to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I need to see. This is all of what Mortal Kombat was missing. All of it. It's it's all so well executed. It's so well done. It feels so visceral. The hits are so powerful.
Hey, dog, it is
Everything,
insane.
every weapon, from the guns to the axes to like all of it is so perfectly executed that and once that action starts,
It
it
does
just
not stop.
it just goes, bro. It
Yo,
just goes.
I tell
It's
you, as he was fighting through, and listen, I was enjoying every time he ran out of ammo. because
Sure.
he had to improvise and figure out something, and it was all so smooth in the way that it was executed. You know,
Yeah.
get low on ammo. You know what? I'm gonna take your homie over here as my shield. I'm
Yeah.
coming for you. Hey, listen, when he got dude shotty, I know you was probably losing it because he was cutting up
He
with the
was
shotty.
going. He was going ham with that joint, dog. Hey, bruh. Yeah. Yeah. That joint is. Look, it's one of the things we talked about kind of going into this once they announced it, and we talked about it on Weekly, was all right, they announced this. We know he's in Spider Man.
Mm-hmm.
What does this mean? How does this work? Right. And the end of Daredevil season 2 puts us where we need to be for some of the things we saw in that trailer
Mm-hmm.
in terms of like, where's the mayor and what's going on with that, the Vigilante Act. Punisher being in that trailer and like he and Spider Man being on like a first name basis, right? Him calling him Frank, he's young. You see in this like the soft spot that Frank has for wanting to take care of people,
Mm-hmm.
for wanting to actually look out for people, take care of the little guy. You see specifically the relationship that he develops really quickly with like the little girl
Mm-hmm.
in the shop, wanting to make sure she gets taken care of. Having the opportunity at the very end, after everything he's been through and all of that, looking Madame Nucci in her face as she gets lifted up out of her wheelchair and put into the vehicle, having the opportunity to go over there and take care of that. And he probably really could have just threw a knife or something at her, but whatever. And making the choice, do I go and I help the guy from the corner store from
Mm-hmm.
earlier with the daughter that's in there that's screaming about his daughter and needing help, or do I take care of this opportunity that I have to end this right now and take out the person who's the only person who could pay these people who are after me anyway?
Mm-hmm.
And he makes quote unquote the right choice, right? And let me talk about the fight in that corner store
Hey.
for a second. Hey, jokes. That I watched that joint and went, oh, that's why they put the warning in the beginning of the episode.
Hey, homie was not ready at all for Frank Castle. It was insane. Yo, I lost count how many times. Once I think that was that a. I don't know if that was a pen. I
It
think
was
he
a
picked
pen.
up
It was
and
a
just
pen.
started
It was an
stabbing my
ink
man
pen
in the neck like it was.
in the
Like
neck, in the
I lost
arms,
count.
and it, bro. That joint. This is not for everyone. Like everybody can't watch this. It was a little. It was almost invincible levels of like violent um survival,
Mm-hmm.
but it gives you like this. Oh, I could see him having a relationship with Peter Parker,
Mm-hmm.
having a relationship with a young guy. You know what I mean? Just I could see it, and I could see Peter being well aware of
Mm-hmm.
clearly what Punisher has done, what he does do. You know what I mean? It just kind of I feel like it sets it up perfectly. It sets a precedence for it. Um, it's almost perfect in terms of leading into what Spider-Man will be in
Mm-hmm.
really just a few weeks, a month and a half. No, 2.5 months. I lied. I got excited. 2.5 months. I got excited, bro. It's time for Spider Man. Um, yeah, dog. I look. Acting is a 10 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Audio is a 10 out of 10. The action is, I'm gonna
Solid.
say a 9 out of 10,
Solid.
but it's, you know what I mean. And the story,
Mm-hmm.
I think, is a 10 out of 10. Like I think this is a 9, bro. Like I don't. I,
I agree. I
I
think for
think
me,
this is a
like
nine.
I feel like my reason is selfish, and normally I don't get like this, but it was, it was just under an hour, which is typical for any of the Netflix shows or
55
any of
minutes.
those shows for it.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like I was like, this was so good. It's like I kind of wish there was a little bit more to it. But then I have to reel myself back in and be like, if we start extending this thing out to like an hour and a half, like in a true like movie format, it's just like I feel like you start to lose things, and I feel like that's where I had to reel myself back in. I feel like that's probably the reason why I gave it a 7, because I felt like we could have done a little bit more in here. But I think that's just
I mean,
me.
it's set out to be a one shot, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it gives you exactly where he is at the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and in a very short period of time gives you exactly where he is at the end, and it all
Mm-hmm.
makes sense. And it tells you this, you see that redemption arc at the end. Like in this, he's not really the Punisher anymore.
Right. Yeah.
He's not in gear. He's not the Punisher. He is Frank Castle, right? Doing what Frank Castle needs to do to survive. But he's in survival mode. He's not in
Mm-hmm.
Punisher mode. He's not in Hunter mode. He's in survival mode. He's just wearing a hoodie with no shirt on underneath. Like he's just, you know what I mean? He's just combat boots and some pants and a hoodie. It's like he's not geared up. And when it's over, after what has happened, you get it. You see he's
Mm-hmm.
not rough and gruff and dirty and whatever anymore. He's taking the opportunity and the chance to clean himself up, and he's giving
Mm-hmm.
himself something to go do. Now I do have something to do. There is still work to be done. So he's fresh cut, clean shaven, you know what I mean? Black on black on black, you know what I'm saying? Punisher
Mm-hmm.
vested out, ready to go do what I gotta do. And by the way, gotta go holler at Slim to threw that dog in front of the truck.
Mm.
Like it's perfect. Cool. This is where we are. You know what I mean? And it I think it does a really, really great job of taking him from, like, we don't know exactly how much time passes between like the
Right.
end of that part and when you see him fully geared out. I would say a minimum of a couple of days, but maybe at least a
Mm-hmm.
week, right? So you're getting an hour long production that I think is wholly well contained in and of itself. It's a one shot. It's
Mm-hmm.
here's a quick story of a thing that happened, of a day in the life of a
Day in the
Frank
life of
Castle who
Frank Castle.
finally finished the job, only to realize there's more work to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it perfectly sets that up. Like it just, I don't know if this could have been, I don't know that this could have been executed any better than it was. Technically, like there may be little things here and there, but truthfully, and then I watched the end and saw the credits and saw that Bernthal co-wrote this.
Cole wrote this.
And I was
Yo,
like,
I was.
got it. He understands the character. For all intents and purposes, he is him. Um, yeah. I mean, I'm hesitant to give it a 10, but it's at least a 9. Like that's where I'm sitting.
I can agree. I can agree with you after talking through. Like, I feel like just like I said, my reason is a little bit more selfish, and I think I wanted more. And then if doing that could take down, but like you said, for a one shot, it just getting a quick story, a quick hey, this is the aftermath of obviously the 2 seasons of the Punisher, and Frank's broken. He's in a broken spot. Like, I don't. If it wasn't Jon Bernthal right now, I don't know how the Punisher. Like, he just, like you said, he fits, understands the character to the T. And even though like his part could be small in the grand scheme for Spider-Man, I am more interested just to see his few appearances that he shows up in there. Like, if it's maybe at one point Spider-Man doesn't want to cross that line for some reason, and Frank just shows up to end up just dotting that I and crossing that T, and Spider, you go take care of this next
I mean,
thing.
that's not
I'll
gonna
take care.
happen, bro. Spider-Man's PG-13. Like that's not happening. Like you're
Well,
like
no,
you
no, no. I don't mean it to the full extent of what Frank Castle would do. It'll probably be off screen.
yeah. Um yeah, man. I'm to be honest, I'm pretty impressed. this is one of the best things that I think Disney has done in terms of TV. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just think it's one of the best things that Marvel has done, and um, it would be hard for me to not recommend it to anyone unless they're just averse to the kind of violence
Type
that it
is,
is.
yeah.
Because I think that everything else that it's doing, again, like just the way that he lives PTSD
Mm-hmm.
and the taking of medicine, the shaky hands, the talking to himself, the moments of quiet speech, talking to himself, talking to somebody else, the going into the yelling, the angry, into the
Mm-hmm.
crying, I can't do it anymore. Like the full range of emotions that are on display uh, by yourself on camera. It's you and the cameraman. Like, you know what I mean? Just sitting in the cemetery is or just more or less being the only person in that apartment until it's time to fight.
Yeah.
Um, I just think it's so well done. I really do. So I'm at a 9. That's my final. I'm at a 9.
I'll
Look at
meet you all the way because I'm still being a little selfish. I'm at the 8.5.
all right. I mean, that's cool. You want more? Maybe they give you more if you give it a 9. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they'd be like, "Ooh, people really like this. We
Loading
should do
snacks.
more."
Hey,
Right? You
look,
know?
them loading snacks guys really like it. Let's do some more.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, that's it for me. Like again, this is only an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I highly recommend it. I think if you're in the MCU at all, into the MCU at all, if you have been, this is some of the best TV you're gonna see in terms
Mm-hmm.
of what that is. You should definitely check this out. It's not gonna take a lot of your time. It's an hour out of your time, and I think it'll be totally worth it. It is very much an hour well spent. So
Agreed.
uh I'm at a 9, jokes at an 8.5 for myself, Gage, for jokes. I appreciate y'all tuning in. This has been your spoiler boys for the Punisher one shot. That is Punisher One Last Kill. We're out. Toodles and lose.
Tighten it up, tighten it up. Get your wing up there, Malcolm.